know about you guys, but, I want to be free. And I cannot be free as long as I owe the darn bank, because they run me if I owe them. Right? Well, we'll get a levy, get your wages. I'm never working for anyone again, because I learned it's a master-servant relationship. I don't want two masters. I just want one. I just want to work for Him. Speaking of working for Him, do you know that He promised in the book of Matthew? He says, look upon the fields, for they are white for harvest. Pray the Lord of the harvest that He send laborers into the field, and he that reaps receives wages. You know what that gives me? That gives me a source of income that comes from Him that they cannot touch. There's no way they can let it go. Right? So that's what I tell them. I said, I don't care. And then, what else would they try? You know what? They all went away. Oh, I know what they said. I know that. I'd say, I'm taking a biblical bankruptcy. And they'd say, what? And I said, yeah, in the Bible it says every 7 years that all the debts are supposed to be forgiven. And one of them says to me, he says, would you send me that in the mail? I'm like, just look it up in your own Bible. Don't you have a Bible? It's Deuteronomy 15, I think, is where it says that. So, I had some fun with them. Now, getting back to this, He causeth all. Bottom 3, small, great 3, seed 1. The Father says to me, look up this word cause. You know what? My friend Anthony Leslie, he told me, when you speak of global science, tell them about some conspiracy stories. They love conspiracy stories. Right? Well, here's your conspiracy. It says, I looked in the Greek lexicon for the word causal, just before I came here, just for you guys. You know what it says? You know what? It says, for causal, form a conspiracy. So there you go. And then, I looked in the Strong's Concordance, and it says, abide, agree, band together, commit, deal, execute, exercise, fulfill, perform, provide, transgress the law. Did you hear all those contract terms in there that I just read? Those, when they're talking about contracts, those are all words they use. Right? How's He doing it? How's He calling us all to use that number? And I learned later that what it's called is quasi-contractual. When He uses a statute to create a contract, it's called quasi-contractual. In a case called Milwaukee County versus White, they came right out and they said, the collection of taxes is quasi-contractual. And then at the end of this thing, it says, compare 4238, which is another number in the Strong's Concordance. And you know what 4238 says? It says, perform repeatedly or habitually, as in collecting dues. Or I put it in taxes. Right? Every year you got to do this thing. So, I see I'm out of time. Want to ask me questions, or you want me? I got a couple more things to talk about. More than 5 minutes worth. So, yes. My main point is.
What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do?
Get our freedom back.
Well, yeah. What I want you to do is I want you to resolve personally that you want to be free and do what it takes to obtain that freedom. And what it will take, I think, is to be led of the Spirit, right? And not only that, but to operate in the principles. Some of these principles that I'm describing, Yahushuwah said, continue in my word, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. I can't tell you how good that felt the first time the lady at the counter said, do you want this receipt? And I was like, nope, I got no need for any more receipts. Yeah.
You mentioned about corporations. When you talk about, was that a corporation?
I'm not sure what Bill directors I've had in mind. We just talked about that on the phone this morning. And one of the reasons that I went to trouble tracking him down is because he's sharp. I mean, he does the kind of things like I'm describing, where he was telling me about a deal. He'd go into a bank to open an account. He knows full well what they're going to ask him for. His Social Security number, right? Sir, Commander, you haven't even thought of Social Security number. I forgot. The card is at home. Oh, wait, I've got it written down here. He pulls out he's describing, pulls out, and here it's written on this piece of paper. And he lays it over there. It's just a piece of paper with a number on it, right? He makes them write the number in the box. And of course, it's not his number. But, I don't know. Somebody was saying, well, that wouldn't work today because they have computers, and, it may not. But that was just one of the clever things he came up with. Now I know he's telling me, he said, go to Canada and get an account there, because they don't care if you give them a Social Security number. And he says, they process it through the Federal Reserve, and you get it processed just as quick. And, they'll do it in US dollar or whatever. And I'm sorry, I don't know the deal on the corporations. The bad corporations are supposed to have the benefit of having bearer shares. So you can just hand it to somebody else and now boom, they own the corporation. And then you can even say you don't know who owns it because you don't know who they gave the shares to. So that's one thing. Yeah.
This is a two-parter, if I can do it fast. In all seriousness, how does one reconcile, let's say, $20,000 worth of credit card debt or whatever it was?
That's, I just was resolute that I was never going to do business with banks again. I've seen nothing but bad come out of them. I mean, you got no money in your account, you bounce a check and they charge you $25? How much sense is that?
But I mean, let's say the goods, the merchandise that was purchased on credit cards, how do you, ethically get clean there?
Well,
I'm sorry I asked.
I defaulted on them all, and you're right. There was goods and services, and in fact, there have been suits brought for that. But part of what I'm talking about here about don't own anything in your name and get everything out of your name, right? Pay on the credit cards until you resolve removing the property, right? And then deal with it at that point. Either that, or you know what? If it bothers your conscience and you've got something that you can sell and pay those off, get on it.